Beneath the scorching heat of the African grassland, creatures that disappear through the dry season are gradually returning with the first rains. Hidden beneath the cracked, dry earth, a hunger lies dormant, waiting for life to return. No sharp claws, no overwhelming speed, but anything that fits in the mouth can become a meal. And when the ground begins to move, the grassland understands that a predator has awakened. Africa's monster, the creature that devours the grassland after rain. The grassland of southern Africa, in the middle of the dry season, earth cracked open in great patches, grass burned flat, and the last water source vanished many weeks ago. But deep beneath the dry surface, a creature still exists. Its body nearly shut down, metabolism drastically reduced to hold on to its last reserves of moisture. Through months without eating or drinking, heart beating slowly, waiting for the familiar signal that will wake the body back to life. The sky to the west begins to darken, black clouds rolling low and carrying a damp wind. Then the first drops of rain fall onto the dry earth and seep into the cracks. The rain grows heavier, softening the parched soil, water pooling in small patches across the cracked surface, carrying moisture and new vitality to the arid land. Then the earth stirs. A crack widens, mud bursts upward, and from below, a large head with amber eyes slowly rises after months of concealment. The African bullfrog has a body as dense as a mass of muscle sunk in mud, jaws occupying nearly half its head, lined with small spike-like teeth. Once prey has entered, there is no escape. A body not built for running, it only needs to lie still and wait for prey to come to it. And after months of starvation, the hunting instinct rises back with full force. Small insects crawl across the wet mud. Another bullfrog lies watching the ground, its body blending almost completely into the mud color. A millipede passes close. The bullfrog's mouth snaps open, tongue fires out, jaws close. From the moment the prey touches down to the moment it disappears takes half a second. 10 minutes. Dozens of insects have vanished. The frog makes use of the brief rainy days to rapidly recover the energy burned away through the entire dry season. But insects are only the appetizer. For them, anything that fits in the mouth is food. And around the newly formed water pools, larger prey gradually appears. A field mouse steps out from the wet grass, searching for seeds along the water's edge, nose down low, completely unaware that death is waiting just ahead. It takes one more step, then the mud explodes. The frog's mouth snaps open, swallowing the mouse whole, locking every struggle down with the sharp teeth lining its mouth. The eyeballs press downward to help push the prey deeper into the throat. The mouse disappears, hind legs kicking weakly, then going still. The belly swells, but the mouth is already ready for the next one. 2 weeks after the rain, the savanna is drying again. Insects and small reptiles are more active, and the bullfrog has left the water pool, sitting motionless like a lump of dry mud on the red earth. A small snake slides past, just 20 centimeters away, tongue flickering, head raised to probe the environment. It is still too small to recognize the danger directly in front of it. The snake glides across the frog's field of view. A strike launches upward, misses. Red earth flies up as the prey attacks and tries to find a way out. The second lunge lands true. Jaws lock onto the head. Spiked teeth drive deep. The snake's body coils and tightens around the frog, but is pressed flat against the ground. The frog begins to swallow. The grassland returns to quiet. The frog, lying still under the warm sun, belly rounded and full, beginning the slow process of digestion after a series of heavy meals under the sunlight slowly returning. The rainy season brings not only food, but the opportunity to breed, when all activity must happen quickly before the last drop of water disappears. At the largest water pool in the area, dozens of males gather, throats swelling as deep calls roll across the savanna, drawing females and staking out control of the breeding center. The strongest male holds the central position where the water is deepest, while others ram, press, and bite each other to win the only chance to continue their lineage. When the female arrives, mating is quick. Eggs are fertilized immediately and cling to moss and grass, beginning a life cycle that must outrace the receding water. Tadpoles hatch, thousands of tiny bodies swimming frantically in the warming pool, eating algae and each other to grow, because their life cycle is shorter than the pool sustaining them. Many weeks pass, the harsh sun returns, the pool shrinks day by day from a wide pond to a small puddle. Tadpoles pack together in a life source that is steadily running out. And in the middle of the shrinking pool, the father frog stays. He looks at the mud ridge dividing two pools of water, then quietly uses his hind legs to break through the mud, channeling his young through to the water on the other side. After hours of digging mud, under the blazing sun, his strength is spent, skin dry, eyes half closed. Yet he has held on to the chance of life for thousands of tadpoles. A smaller frog enters the territory being guarded. But for the bullfrog, a smaller member of its own species can sometimes also become food. The lunge happens quickly and decisively. As the dry season turns back, the instinct to protect and the instinct to hunt exist within the same body. Tadpoles begin to grow legs, some metamorphosing into frogs in fewer than 3 weeks, fingernail-sized, leaving the muddy pool to step into the high-risk world above the waterline. But the moment they reach the bank, the young frogs face hunting birds, snakes around the water's edge, and other adult frogs, because when hungry, this species does not distinguish its own kind. Most do not survive the first week. Of thousands of eggs, only a few will still be alive by the following rainy season. But those that remain will grow into monsters like their father. The pool has dried completely. The last tadpoles have left, and the father frog gazes silently at the empty patch of earth, sitting at the edge of dry mud, sensing the heat of the dry season slowly returning. Then the old instinct wakes. It begins to dig, hind legs driving hard, body sinking gradually into the hardening mud, preparing for the next long sleep. Mud slowly covers the back, the head, then both eyes, leaving behind a water-retaining membrane that gradually encases the body like a survival cocoon for the dry months ahead. The earth cracks open again, grass burns flat under the scorching sun, the water pools vanish entirely, and deep below the dry ground, the bullfrog lies still with a slowing heart, waiting for the next rain. A young frog that survived the rainy season sits near the drying bank. No larger than a coin, it has just caught its first ant. Life starts here. If it survives the first dry season, it will burrow into a mud cocoon like its parents, then emerge after the rains, larger, stronger, with a mouth that grows wider with every hunting season. The hot wind sweeps across the savanna. The cracked, dry earth is completely silent, but deep below, hundreds of bullfrogs lie still inside their own water-retaining membranes. And that is how the African bullfrog survives. The most voracious predator on the savanna is also the one that buries itself in a sleep lasting many months, just to exchange it for a handful of opportunities. Field mice still search for seeds. Grass snakes still hunt, completely unaware that the danger sleeping beneath their feet needs only one rain to open its mouth. The rainy season will return, perhaps soon, perhaps late. But without needing to know the timing, it only needs to feel the first vibration when water touches the earth. The first raindrop will fall, the earth will soften, pools will form, insects will surge, and from beneath the cracks, amber eyes will open again, beginning a new hunting season. But for now, the grassland is still dry and hot, and deep beneath the dark earth, it still lies there, waiting. The ground trembles faintly. Not rain yet, only wind moving through the grass. But sooner or later, the water will return, and it will be here when that happens.
Dawn breaks over the African savanna, a vast land where every new day is a brutal battle for survival. Life here is fragile, and water is the force that dictates all, guiding both hunter and prey alike. This is the home of countless creatures, from gentle giants to apex predators ruling the land. Yet one resilient survivor often goes unnoticed: the warthog, the true warrior of the plains. Its signature kneeling stance allows it to graze on short grass, a perfect adaptation to its harsh environment. But danger is never far away. In the tall grass, the eyes of a predator are fixed upon it. A deadly stillness fills the air. The duel between hunter and hunted has begun. The lion strikes. With explosive speed, it charges toward its prey. The odds seem decided. But the warthog is swift and cunning. Its raised tail signals the alarm, a rallying cry for the herd. The chase becomes a test of endurance and strategy. The predator closes in, step by step. The only hope lies underground, the safety of a burrow where the mighty cannot follow. When cornered, the warthog will fight. Its sharp tusks are formidable weapons, capable of inflicting serious wounds. The danger passes, for now. Life on the savanna returns to its relentless rhythm. Ever watchful, the mother warthog guards her young against the countless threats that surround them. Failure doesn't discourage the lion. Patience, the hallmark of a true predator, keeps it waiting for the next chance. Sometimes, the best defense is attack. The warthog turns, standing its ground with fearless determination. Its tusks force the lion to hesitate. One wrong move could mean a crippling injury for the hunter. Energy must be restored. The warthog's varied diet allows it to endure even in the harshest conditions. Feeding alongside other species increases their collective awareness, more eyes to spot danger from afar. Yet threats don't only come from without. Rival males battle for dominance and the right to mate. Strength is displayed in fierce combat. The victor earns status, territory, and the chance to pass on his lineage. At the watering hole, an unspoken truce exists. Predator and prey gather side by side to share the gift of life. Speed, agility, and luck. These are the keys to survival on the savanna. Though it failed today, the lion's instinct to hunt never fades. It will return. The warthog family moves on. Vigilance is their constant companion. In the lion's eyes, the wild spirit of Africa burns, the embodiment of power and dominion. The young ones learn with each passing day, preparing for a life filled with danger and discovery. As night descends, new hunters rise. The cycle begins again. The sun sets on another day, but the story of survival on the savanna never truly ends. Africa, a continent of contrasts. From grasslands to wetlands, it is the ultimate arena of survival. For African buffaloes, strength lies in numbers. They move in massive herds, forming a living fortress. Zebras and impalas often cooperate. The combination of their senses creates a perfect early warning system. The gentle giants of the savannah. Their strong social bonds are the key to the elephant's survival. But where there is life, there are predators. The cheetah, nature's sprinter, possesses terrifying speed. Spotted hyenas and vultures are always lurking. One is an opportunistic hunter, the other nature's cleanup crew. But not every prey is easy. Consider the porcupine, a master of defense with its unique spiny armor. The North American porcupine takes defensive weaponry to a new level. Its quills have barbs that inflict excruciating wounds. A porcupine's quills are modified hairs. Contrary to popular belief, they cannot be shot, only released easily from the body. In Africa, porcupines face top predators. The leopard, a master hunter, must approach with extreme caution. Even lions must beware. A rash attack can result in serious wounds or even death. Facing a pride of lions, the porcupine stands its ground. It backs up, using its spiny tail as a weapon. These keratinized quills can cause deadly infections, a clear warning to reckless predators. The young lions learn a costly lesson. The weak are not always easy prey. In the desert, the battle for survival is even fiercer. The long-eared hedgehog is a master of adaptation to the harshness. Its large ears aren't just for hearing, they act as radiators, helping it stay cool under the desert heat. Its enemy, the cobra, one of the most venomous snakes on Earth. A single bite could kill an elephant. But the desert hedgehog holds a secret weapon, venom resistance, allowing it to survive otherwise lethal doses. This immunity gives it the chance to fight back. The hedgehog strikes repeatedly, aiming for the snake's spine. A battle of wits. The hedgehog must kill the snake before the venom in its body becomes too much. Its short, spiny coat shields it from retaliatory strikes as it continues its relentless assault. In the end, the hunter becomes the hunted. In the arms race of survival, adaptation wins. From savanna to desert, porcupines prove that clever defenses can triumph over strength and venom. Scientists continue to study their venom resistance, hoping to uncover new medical applications. In a dense forest, another tragic encounter unfolds. A reticulated python, the giant constrictor, faces a porcupine. The snake's predatory instinct overrides its caution. It launches an attack on its spiny prey. A fatal mistake. Attacking a porcupine drives hundreds of quills deeper into the python's body. A grim reminder that in the natural world, any encounter could be the last.
The Luangwa River flows through the heart of Zambia, clear water reflecting the sky. But this calm surface conceals a dangerous world below. The dry season arrives, water level drop, large pools shrink into small lakes, animals gather around water sources. Danger begins to emerge. Here, two giant species coexist: hippos, Nile crocodiles. Both are masters of the river, but when water recedes, territories begin to overlap. This is the story of new life, of the survival battle from day one, when the underwater trap always lurks, waiting for moments of weakness. Hippopotamus, the third largest land mammal after elephants and rhinos. Adult weight up to 1,500 kilograms. Canine teeth up to 60 centimeters long. Bite force 2,000 kilograms. Speed on land 30 kilometers per hour. One of Africa's most dangerous animals. They live in groups of 10 to 30 individuals. Complex social structure. Dominant males control a territory. Females and young live communally. Underwater, they can dive for 5 minutes. They walk on the riverbed, communicate with low-frequency sounds. A separate world exists beneath the surface. Today, a female is about to give birth. She leaves the pod, seeks calmer water, a place with less crocodile presence, where she has the best chance to protect her calf. Hippos give birth underwater. Unlike most mammals, the newborn must swim to the surface immediately for its first breath, a life or death moment. The calf weighs about 30 kilograms, vulnerable, cannot dive long yet, completely dependent on mother. The first days are most dangerous. The mother hippo keeps her calf on her back or in front of her body, always within control. Protective instinct rarely seen in herbivores. Nile crocodile, one of the largest surviving reptiles, can reach 6 meters long, weighing nearly a ton Lifespan can reach 100 years. They don't hunt adult hippos. Too large, too dangerous. But hippo calves are different targets. Small, weak, easily separated from mother. Crocodiles can lie motionless for hours. Only eyes and nostrils above water. The rest hidden below, like driftwood. No one suspects. Perfect ambush tactics at river crossing points, where hippos must pass daily, where water is shallow, where calves are easily separated. Second week after birth, the mother hippo needs to return to the pod. The calf is strong enough to travel, but not strong enough to defend itself. She must pass through territories of 3 different males. Each could attack the calf, not to eat, but to eliminate another's genes. And crocodiles, at least 5 lurking along the route, they know the mother hippo will pass. Just a matter of time. Early morning. The mother hippo begins her journey. The calf swims close beside, trying to keep up, but swimming speed much slower than mother's. First territory. A bull hippo blocks the way, mouth gaping wide, a clear warning, but she doesn't back down. Tension lasts several seconds. Then the bull retreats, not from fear, but because it's not worth confronting a mother protecting her young at all costs. They enter shallow water, the crossing point, water surface clear as crystal, peaceful, but the mother hippo knows silence is a sign of danger. She slows down, eyes scanning every ripple, ears listening for every sound. The calf swims behind, unaware danger is imminent. 1 meter ahead, just below the surface, the largest crocodile in the area lies still, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The calf falls slightly behind mother, just 1 meter, but enough to create a gap for the crocodile to act. The decisive moment has arrived. The crocodile launches from the riverbed. Water explodes. White foam erupts, jaws gaping wide, targeting the calf's hind leg. Astonishing speed. The mother hippo reacts instantly, spins around, charges backward, pushes calf aside. The bite misses by mere centimeters. But the crocodile doesn't give up. It twists in the water, this time aiming straight for the calf's neck. If it succeeds, everything will end. The mother hippo charges between them. 2,000 kilograms of hippo colliding with 1 ton of crocodile. Water erupts. Cannot see clearly. Only sounds of violent impact. She opens her mouth wide. Canines stab the crocodile's flank. Thick scales protect it, but cannot withstand the massive bite force. She hurls the crocodile out of the water. Then it crashes down, a stunning display of power. The crocodile swims away, though injured. It survives. Today's meal doesn't belong to it. It misjudged a mother's strength. The mother hippo turns back, checks her calf, trembling, frightened, but uninjured. But the journey isn't over. 2 more territories remain. Other crocodiles still wait. She must continue. Keep her calf closer, more vigilant. 2 hours later, they reach the pod, safe. The first survival lesson has been learned. In the following weeks, the calf grows rapidly, learns to dive longer, swim faster, recognize danger, each day a new lesson. But risk doesn't disappear. Crocodiles still lurk, bull hippos still aggressive, and the dry season makes life harsher. Climate change extends the dry season. Water sources increasingly shrink. Hippos and crocodiles forced to live closer together. Conflicts increase. Each year, about 30% of hippo calves don't survive the first year. Crocodiles, bull hippos, food shortage, disease. But survivors will become stronger, smarter, more cautious. They learn the most important lesson. Vigilance is the key to survival. Conservation areas are working to protect them, monitoring hippopods, protecting water sources, preventing poaching, but challenges remain enormous. In 2026, hippo populations declined 30% in the past 2 decades. Urgent action needed to protect them. When the sun sets, the hippopod emerges on shore to feed. The calf stays close to mother, safer on land, but tomorrow they'll return to the water. Beneath the surface, crocodiles still lie silent, waiting for a new day, waiting for another opportunity. The survival cycle continues, without rest. In the silence of the Luangwa River, a truth is rewritten each day. Life doesn't begin with ease, but with battle. Calves don't just learn to swim, don't just learn to eat. They learn to recognize danger, trust instinct, and learn to survive. And in that lesson lies a powerful message. The greatest strength doesn't lie in muscle, but in a mother's love, ready to fight to the end to protect life. Early morning on the African savanna. The air isn't hot yet, but right beneath the ground, life began moving long ago. This is not the land of the strongest, but of the most dangerous. And that boundary is sometimes only a few millimeters long, the length of a fang. Every morning here begins with silent calculations. Who eats whom, who avoids whom, and who carries a weapon that the enemy never sees. Africa has hundreds of venomous species. Many are smaller than a hand, But size doesn't matter. Venom only needs enough time to take effect. This is a biological weapon refined by nature over millions of years. Not for indiscriminate attacks, but to terminate a target with ultimate precision. In nature, two main mechanisms exist. One type attacks the nervous system, fast and silent. The other destroys tissue and blood, slower but harder to stop. The first group is neurotoxins. They don't need strength, just a single touch. And from that moment, time begins to work against the victim. The black mamba is the most typical representative of this group. Up to 4.5 meters long, ground movement speed can reach 20 kilometers per hour. No species escapes faster than it. When threatened, the black mamba raises its forebody, revealing an inky black mouth. It's not a display, but a final warning before attacking. The cobra chooses a different way. It spits venom into the eyes from a distance, causing almost instant blindness. No need to approach, giving the opponent no chance to react. The other group uses hemotoxin. Death does not come immediately, but lingers over time as the body is gradually destroyed from within. The bush viper is the most common hemotoxin carrier in Africa. Though it lacks speed and range, in the savanna, no one sees it before it's too late. The afternoon here changes in ways that are hard to notice. The temperature drops, shadows begin to lengthen, and on a small rock near the forest edge, something is waiting. A field mouse is moving close to the grass, completely normal behavior, foraging, observing, pausing. But nearby, a pair of eyes is watching. Venom doesn't require the host to be large. It requires patience. And on this savanna, patience is something that has been honed over a vast amount of time. To understand what is about to happen, one must know what that moving creature can cause. And the answer, in truth, is terrifyingly simple. The emperor scorpion looks big and heavy, but it isn't the most dangerous. The scarier species are often smaller, yellow, and nearly vanish into the sand. The Deathstalker scorpion is much smaller, but its venom is extremely potent, acting simultaneously on the victim's heart and central nervous system. In the twilight, it stands perfectly still. No threat, no attack. Just existing, with its curved tail behind it already dangerous enough. The bush viper is not as fast as the mamba, but it hides perfectly. No sound, no movement, and when it strikes, everything ends in less than 0.25 seconds. The viper's jaw has a special folding mechanism. When attacking, the fangs spring out like hypodermic needles, piercing deep into the tissue and pumping venom directly into the body. Hemotoxin destroys red blood cells and the ability for blood to clot. Victims do not die from the wound. They die because the blood no longer has the ability to clot. The mouse stands still, unaware that it has fallen into the crosshairs. The snake doesn't need to see or hear. It only needs to sense the heat from the prey's body. No need to see or hear, just a temperature difference. Anything warmer than the environment becomes a target. Because of this, the viper causes the most deaths each year. The distance is less than 30 centimeters. The mouse stops, then takes another step, and the snake remains motionless, waiting for the exact moment to strike. In less than half a second, the fangs spring out, embedding deep and pumping venom into the prey's body. Everything happens so fast, it is almost impossible to perceive. The mouse recoils, pain reflexes triggered, but the venom is already in the blood. From that moment, the internal destruction process begins. The viper does not give chase. Within 10 to 20 minutes, the prey will begin to lose orientation. The snake only needs to follow the remaining heat trail. Elsewhere, a small spider also carries its own venom, enough to destroy tissue from within in a slower but no less dangerous way. A brown spider bite is almost painless at first. The victim often doesn't realize it until the skin area begins to necrose hours later. Neurotoxins strike the body's control system quickly. Hemotoxins destroy from within, slower but more prolonged and harder to control. Afternoon has arrived. The viper still lies still, not moving, but its body still silently monitors every change around it. The mouse begins to move more slowly. Hemotoxin has begun to take effect. The body is losing coordination. This is the final sign the predator is waiting for. The viper begins to move, not rushing, each step precise along the heat trail. This is the process of retrieving what already belonged to it after the previous attack. The viper is not the strongest nor the fastest, but hemotoxin allows it to take down prey larger than its body without needing a direct confrontation. After all, the savanna is silent again. Not a peace, but a balance re-established after every encounter. The viper returns to its familiar spot. It will rest for many days to digest, but the venom has already begun to regenerate, starting now. Not far away, a black mamba glides across the high ground. On the same savanna, many venom mechanisms coexist without the species being aware of each other. The mamba does not actively attack, but when cornered, it can bite repeatedly, each time dangerous enough to take down large prey. Its venom attacks the nervous system, causing the body to gradually shut down. The victim remains conscious, but loses the ability to breathe in silence. The cobra chooses another way. Its venom combines neurotoxins and tissue destruction, and it can spit from a distance without touching the opponent. In the twilight, it faces a meerkat. Both stand still. The distance remains the same, but the advantage is leaning toward the snake. In the world of venom, danger does not always lie with the largest. The small, hard-to-see species often pose the greatest risk. The yellow-tailed scorpion is very small, but carries potent neurotoxins. Just one sting is enough to be dangerous if not treated in time. This third killer, it doesn't hunt with speed or ambush. The scorpion exists by becoming invisible, and in the darkness, invisibility is the perfect tactic. At the same time, the black mamba begins to move. This is the time it operates most effectively on the savanna. Nearby, a mongoose appears. It has a partial resistance to venom, but it is not immune. Every mistake still carries a price. The black mamba detects the mongoose and stops. It raises its head to observe, not hiding. This is a calculating posture, only deciding to attack when the moment is clear. The mongoose also circles the snake. Both sides look at each other for a few seconds, enough to understand the opponent. It has venom resistance, but that doesn't make the mamba back down. The mamba strikes. Quick, clean. Only the head and neck lunging forward. The bite is precise, venom entering the blood almost instantly. There is no chance for correction. The mongoose runs around, its body reacting immediately to the venom. But the mamba does not chase. It stands still, watching. To it, one precise strike is enough. The mamba turns its head, disappearing into the darkness. No rush. Behind it, the mongoose has recovered. Its body fought off a dose of venom that wasn't enough to kill. The savanna returns to its familiar rhythm. There are no absolute winners, only species that continue to exist in the way that suits them best. The viper is still coiled there. The scorpion moves on the ground nearby. The mamba has disappeared. 3 species, 3 ways of existing, and no species needs to be the largest. Looking at the viper in the night, no aggression is seen, only absolute patience. And sometimes it is the waiting itself that is most dangerous. Venom is not a weapon of destruction, it is a tool of balance. Each species controls another, creating a system where everything is closely linked. Every year there are thousands of deaths due to snakes, but they themselves also prevent many pathogens from spreading. In nature, nothing is simple. The African night is not truly silent. It is only quieter to human senses. Under rocks, in the grass, under the sand, everything is still operating. There are no names for what takes place. No good, no evil. Just a system of existence older than any language that ever appeared. And the question is not which species is the most dangerous, but what would happen if one link in this system disappeared? A cheetah runs up, lowering head, sniffing the small motionless companion lying on grass. No response, only wind blowing through spotted fur and silence enveloping the grassland. In the distance, 2 yellow shadows remain there, one individual bearing full injuries. On the plains, no victory is priceless. Two hours earlier, early sun just touched Masai Mara grassland, and wildlife's rhythm began awakening. Under acacia canopy, a cheetah group rests with cubs. This is Zuri's family, one of Masai Mara's largest coalitions. Cheetahs are the planet's fastest big cat, speed reaching over 100 kilometers per hour. But in exchange is slender body and weak bite force, creating disadvantage in direct confrontation. Therefore, cheetahs typically form sibling coalitions, hunting and defending territory together. And Zuri's family has many adults, a rare number, strong enough to control wide territory. But even that coalition cannot protect cubs continuously. Individuals under 6 months still have high mortality rate from lions, hyenas, and birds of prey. This morning, 3 adult males left the group hunting, leaving females to protect 2 cubs, force reduced and risk immediately increased. 2 cheetah cubs are playing with rabbit carcass. Mother brought this morning, pulling, shaking, and pouncing each other. They play about 30 meters from acacia, completely losing vigilance. On empty grassland, distance becomes weakness. Group lies under tree canopy, leaving 2 cubs exposed within perfect range for opportunists. To the east, about 200 meters away in tall grass, a solitary lioness on patrol has detected movement. It lowers body, focusing completely on 2 separated cheetah cubs. Lions don't hunt cheetahs for food, but to eliminate competing rivals. This behavior is common, helping reduce future resource pressure. Distance gradually closes. Lioness creeps low, nearly invisible, while 2 cheetah cubs still play absorbed, not yet experienced enough to recognize threat. 20 meters. Lioness compresses muscles. Hind legs press earth. Under tree canopy, an adult cheetah raises head, scenting danger, but already too late. Lioness bursts into speed, 140 kilograms charging through low grass. 2 cheetah cubs panic, running 2 directions, but legs not fast enough. One immediately caught in lioness's jaws. Remaining cheetah cub rushes toward 2 adults, caught individualized still. No response, as lioness stops and turns, head-facing charging group. Lioness doesn't retreat. It moves, holding cheetah cub like living shield, facing adult individuals growling with message. Advance further, cub will pay price. 2 adult cheetahs advance few steps, then stop. They recognize the stalemate, when mass difference makes direct confrontation nearly hopeless. But cheetahs don't fight with strength, but with tactics, continuously distracting and dividing pressure from 2 sides to lock lioness's reaction rhythm. Harassment tactics begin. One advances forward, growling, drawing attention. Others circle behind, exploiting blind spot, forcing lioness to spin, continuously defending. Lioness gradually loses control, simultaneously holding prey in jaws while defending 2 sides, cannot roar or counterattack, locked in disadvantageous position. One from behind lunges, clawing lioness's flank, then immediately retreats. Lioness whips around, but gap has shifted direction while another continues closing in. After many minutes of harassment, lioness gradually exhausts from continuous spinning, jaws tired from holding prey, and calmness replaced by rage. And And that's what cheetahs are waiting for. When lioness loses control, it must attack and release jaws, self-opening the mistake tactics aim for. Cheetah from behind lunges again, clawing deep into lioness's back, wounded through fur layer. Lioness roars, turns body in rage, and moment jaws open, cheetah cub falls. Lioness doesn't release from mercy, but because counterattack instinct overwhelms holding prey, immediately shifting to direct confrontation. An adult cheetah rushes to where cub just fell, lowers checking, but small body no longer responds, completely motionless. And that moment changes everything. It carries cub's body away. Eyes go cold, pack instinct fully activated. Right then, 3 adult cheetahs hunting return, abandoning prey immediately and charging straight back to group. Adult individuals converge, completing formation. First time lioness faces entire coalition. Cheetah group surrounds completely, eyes unblinking, bodies lowered. Force balance tilts decisively, and lioness recognizes this. Tactics upgrade. They take turns moving, forcing lioness to continuously spin left, right, behind, but every direction blocked, making encirclement increasingly tight. Attack strikes begin intensifying. Each one lunges clawing, then withdraws immediately. Not fatal, but eroding stamina through each defensive spin rhythm. Lioness roars and counterattacks, but misses. Each lunge makes it lose more strength, while opponents always stay out of reach. 10 minutes pass. Lioness gradually slows, swipes weaker, body turns heavier, and distance compressed from 5 meters down to 2. Encirclement tightens each beat. Claw marks thicken across body, not fatal, but enough to gradually drain strength. First time, lioness lowers center of gravity, shifting to defensive stance. Cheetah group recognizes the change. When the strong begin defending, battle has reversed. Attack rhythm increases, pressure pushed even higher. But battle will stop there. On Masai Mara, no creature is completely alone, and lioness is no exception. Earlier roar has echoed farther than cheetah group's calls. Ground trembles slightly. From the east, a deep, heavy roar tears through plains, bringing massive yellow shadow charging, dark black mane, rippling muscles, answering the call and advancing straight into battle. Cheetah group immediately flees in unison. Balance completely shifts. What they dared do against exhausted lioness, one miss, cannot apply before 2 powerful hunters. Male lion stands beside mate, not roaring, not pursuing, only silently staring straight at cheetah group, and that presence enough to close the battle. Cheetah group backs away, no more attacking, no more encircling. When coalition faces coalition, they cannot defeat 2 lions. Afternoon sun descends on Masai Mara. Male lion lies licking wounds for lioness. Claw marks will heal, but lesson remains. The strong can still be eroded by numbers. And cheetahs also carry their own lesson. Coalition can erode solitary lioness, but cannot win when male lion appears. Each survival layer has limits. On this vast plain, conflict between lions and cheetahs occurs nearly daily, an arms race lasting millions of years. But today is exceptional. Rarely do cheetahs dare ambush, pressing lion into defense. Zuri's family transcended instinct, attacking the stronger. Price of ambush clear on both sides. Lioness weakened, requiring rescue. Cheetah group lost cub, a future link in Zuri's family, never given chance to mature. In nature, all behavior aligns with survival instinct. Lions eliminate potential rivals, while cheetahs protect next generation. No good or evil exists, only selection and consequence. Abandoned cub carcass will quickly attract vultures, insects, and microorganisms, initiating decomposition process, an essential link in nutrient cycle. Zuri's family begins stabilizing. Adult individual surrounding, cub at center, shielded, minimizing separation risk to maximum. Two lions still there. Lioness rests lying down, male stands guard beside. They'll return to territory tomorrow morning and continue patrol. At conflict point, grass gradually stands back up. Blood seeps into earth, fur scattered by wind. By tomorrow morning, traces will nearly vanish, only a few strands remaining. Survival on plains is problem without answer. Strength beats numbers. Numbers beat individual, then coalition defeated by larger coalition. Somewhere on Masai Mara tonight, Zuri's family will lie close together under starry sky. Entire group will surround remaining cub in defensive formation. Evening wind blows across Masai Mara, carrying scent of wet grass and earth dust. Claw marks on lioness's back have dried, while cheetah cub carcass gradually covered by ants, all traces fading with time. But lesson not erased. Lioness becomes more cautious when facing large cheetah groups, while Zuri's group keeps cubs close to formation, each side accumulating experience from their own scars. As last light leaves Masai Mara, plains sink into invisible sounds, where just 1 second of carelessness can trade for irretrievable loss. The price for those who start conflict sometimes is those who must pay most dearly. End of dry season on African savanna, ground cracked long like old wounds. Grass withered crisp underfoot, while air thickens silence. Each species here has a role, and that role isn't fixed. Today's predator can become tomorrow's prey, if it makes one wrong choice. In this harsh environment, no action is meaningless. And sometimes, a successful hunt is precisely the starting point for an unavoidable failure. Africa doesn't favor the strongest, but chooses those who adapt more effectively. And today, the law will be demonstrated through a small species. Honey badger, small, fierce mammal famous for courage, recognized by Guinness as most fearless animal, ready to confront opponents many times larger. Honey badger skin thick and very tough, enough to reduce effectiveness of strong bites. Loose skin also helps it twist to counterattack right when restrained. Honey badger's front claws long, curved and extremely strong, suitable for digging burrows, breaking beehives or foraging underground. and when needed, it tears through anything blocking path. Mongooses significantly smaller than honey badger, but they rarely act alone. This species' true strength lies in ability to coordinate in packs. In a mongoose pack, usually at least one individual performs sentry duty. It observes from high position and signals when danger approaches. Despite having certain resistance to snake venom, their greatest advantage lies in behavior. Group coordination with astonishing speed and precision. This morning, entire pack moving toward nearest water source, a familiar route repeated daily and already silently tracked by honey badger. Honey badger doesn't lack food, but this opportunity rarely appears. When pack begins dispersing to forage, young individuals remain, creating dangerous gap. In nature, distance sometimes determines survival, not just between two bodies, but between an individual and pack's protection, and honey badger knows this. Balance in nature rarely collapses through chaos. It usually starts from very small deviation, then spreads faster than any reflex. Honey badger charges straight at target, no circling or probing. That's the hunting method of animal relying on endurance, boldness, and closing speed. Small mongoose pack reacts almost immediately, but still slower than decisive moment. Warning call rings out, but pack still outside support range. Honey badger bites and holds prey's neck or nape, an effective restraint method helping it quickly end attack before opponent can escape. Honey badger doesn't leave immediately, but begins eating on spot, a common choice for confident predators when not sensing clear threat. Not far away, mongoose pack has heard alarm signal. They stop almost simultaneously, then quickly turn toward direction emitting sound. This isn't random reaction, but social behavior reinforced through natural selection. When one individual signals, entire pack immediately coordinates. Honey badger quickly recognizes pack approaching, but it doesn't retreat. Instead, it turns to face, raises fur, and grips food tightly. Mongoose pack approaches at safe distance, not rushing in immediately. They observe, maintain formation, and assess opponent before choosing intervention moment. When honey badger turns back to prey position, two mongooses from behind have closed in. They attack tail and flanks, areas honey badger cannot defend. This is attrition attack type. No single individual strong enough to bring down honey badger alone, but entire pack can force it to continuously expend energy. Honey badger counterattacks fiercely and strong enough to bring down several individuals in short time. But mongoose pack doesn't retreat, nor let formation fall into chaos. This is when numerical advantage begins showing effectiveness. Each eliminated individual almost immediately replaced, while honey badger must bear all pressure alone. Honey badger turns back to prey and continues eating. This is biggest mistake it will make today. While head bowed down, 3 mongooses attack simultaneously from 3 directions. Situation changes, not from single strike, but because honey badger, for first time, loses control of fighting space around its own body. Honey badger still hasn't left prey, partly from resource-keeping instinct, partly because it never had to abandon anything before. Today is first time. Mongoose pack doesn't rush in chaotically. They attack in short waves, then withdraw, maintaining pressure without depleting own energy. Through each collision, honey badger's reaction speed begins decreasing very slightly. What naked eye hardly notices is clear enough for entire pack to adjust closing distance. Honey badger begins moving to find more favorable opening, trying to regain initiative. But each gap just appearing is quickly filled by entire pack. Confrontation now no longer revolves around prey carcass. Entire mongoose pack has shifted target from protective reaction to applying pressure until honey badger exhausts. Mongoose pack not panicking, they continue following exact rhythm maintained from battle start. Patience is final and most effective weapon in this species' arsenal. Honey badger still bites several more individuals, but force and accuracy markedly decrease. Wounded ones retreat, while remainder continue applying pressure. This is battle about time, not strength. And in this battle, numbers always beat single individual, however exceptional that individual. Honey badger lowers body longer than normal beat. A declining sign mongoose pack immediately recognizes and exploits without delay. They don't need clear finishing blow. Just maintain pressure long enough, remainder decided by opponent's physiological limits. When honey badger falls again, it still manages to rise. But posture has lost stability, showing body beginning to decline movement controllability. Mongoose pack gives honey badger no rest. Each time it struggles up, entire pack immediately tightens pressure before opponent regains balance. Honey badger still bites back, still growls, and still won't retreat. But now, body can no longer keep up with its fighting will. This isn't simply failure of stubborn individual, but proof of survival law. Collective endurance can wear down even exceptional opponent. After ensuring threat has ended, mongoose pack quickly disperses and continues moving toward water source as original route. Honey badger lies motionless long while before beginning to move again. It's not dead, but clearly exhausted and completely lost situation control. Prey carcass still remains in place, but honey badger doesn't return, remaining energy not enough to exchange for what already cost it too much. Nature doesn't judge. No good or bad guys in this story. Only choices and consequences. Honey badger chose to attack pack and failed. But story doesn't stop there. One more severely wounded mongoose individual falling behind. and morning order seems beginning to reverse. Honey badger recognizes opportunity, stops observing. Though body still hurts and exhausted, hunting instinct hasn't disappeared, only temporarily suppressed. And in those few seconds, honey badger looks at pack, then looks at wounded mongoose. First time today, it steps back without anyone attacking it. Honey badger turns away slowly, not fleeing but also not continuing pursuit. First time that morning, it actively refuses an opportunity. In nature, individual strength always has limits, while collective strength can far exceed individual capabilities when organized effectively. Tomorrow, honey badger will continue hunting while mongoose pack still goes toward water source. Nature continues, not remembering and not judging. But what remains after this morning isn't moment honey badger fell, but when entire pack turned back just from brief signal from wounded individual. Nature answers the question, what's stronger, individual or collective strength? It only presents real situations with unpredictable outcomes. Afternoon sun pours into the Luangwa River Gorge, murky yellow light illuminating vertical rock faces covered in damp moss where space is suspiciously silent. A few kingfishers dive to the water surface, then dart up, only wing beats echoing in the gorge's quietness. Everything else seemingly motionless. On the cliff edge, a lion pride stands close together, heads bowed observing, eyes not on the water, but focused on the individual in danger. Below, among smooth rocks near the water's edge, a lioness struggles to climb up, claws gripping the surface, but continuously slipping, getting closer to dangerous waters. Lions are large cats dominating many of Africa's dry ecosystems. With male lions weighing up to 180 kilograms, they top the food chain wherever they reach. But all those advantages are designed for flat terrain. On steep, slippery rock surfaces, features once advantageous become disadvantages. The lioness weighs about 130 kilograms, pulling her own body up the sloped face. Gravity quickly overwhelms pulling force, making efforts extremely exhausting. She fell while pursuing prey over the cliff edge, a small miscalculation leading to a long slide, placing her in a life-threatening situation. On the bank, the lion pride still observes. A low roar rings out, but no individual descends, because they know this rock face is a one-way trap. Below, the female tries to grip again. Front legs find footing, but the surface is unstable, pushing force insufficient to hold the body, and she slides down again. Distance to water surface continues closing. Current position not only disadvantageous in terrain, but also conceals another danger. A small ripple spreads from downstream, not from wind, not from current, but a sign of a creature slowly approaching. The lioness recognizes immediately. Eyes lock onto two black points floating on water surface. Alarm, instinct activates. Sounds emitted carry obvious tension. Two black points motionless like rotten logs gradually surfacing, but hidden below is a 4-meter body. The real danger has appeared. And it didn't come alone. Ripples appear from different directions, all heading toward the same point, the cliff base where the lion clings. To understand the danger below, one must know that the creature patiently waiting has existed millions of years, with body structure evolved optimally for hunting. Nile crocodiles reach 5 meters long and weigh over 700 kilograms, and possess bite force among the strongest of animals still existing on Earth. Their tactics rely on ambush, lying motionless for hours, then attacking extremely fast, optimizing energy and ensuring high success probability. After locking jaws, crocodiles drag prey underwater and perform the death roll, inflicting serious damage, and prey quickly loses resistance capability. They can fast for months. Each meal is a long-term investment, so when there's opportunity, they'll thoroughly consume prey. On the rock face, the lioness understands the situation clearly. Above is an unclimbable slope. Below is enemy territory. Now she's trapped between two threats. She moves horizontally along the narrow rock strip, seeking climbable points, each step carefully gripping wet rocks, eyes not leaving water surface. Each step is hope, but also risk. Below, the crocodile pod maintains stable distance, moving parallel. They're not rushing to approach, only maintaining position and waiting for more favorable conditions. The lion discovers a lower section of cliff, but must cross a 2-meter wide shallow water stretch, a short distance, but full of risk. She suddenly lunges the mound, racing quickly across the water. And in the same moment, a crocodile surges up. Jaws snap shut right where she just been left, only 1 beat late. The lion grips rocks on the other side, struggling to pull herself up. The crocodile watches from behind underwater. This time escaped, but terrain on this side still slippery and steep, no easier at all. She continues climbing short sections, then sliding down again. Each time losing momentum, position gets closer to water surface, and safe distance gradually closes. The third slip makes hind legs touch water. The lion flinches, jumping back up, but too late. A crocodile lunges, jaws reaching for hind legs. The lion roars, concentrates force on front legs as anchor points. Shoulder muscles tense, resisting overwhelming pulling force from water surface. The struggle increasingly intense. The crocodile bites and slips. The lion escapes. The lion springs onto the rock strip, breathing heavily, while the crocodile sinks, carrying anger. The lion gradually tires and cannot stay in one place long. For crocodiles, that's a signal. They adjust positions, tighten encirclement, distance only, meters remaining. The lioness has no choice left. Cannot climb up, cannot stay. Survival space shrinks by the minute. She moves faster, abandoning fear. Each step each short leap utilizing every remaining foothold on the slippery rock strip. The crocodiles no longer wait. They simultaneously surge up when the lion crosses the narrow water section, jaws snapping shut consecutively in splashing water. The lion reaches the final rock outcrop. Ahead is the only gentle bank, but separated by a deep water section, while predators have closed in from behind. She looks at the shore, looks at the water surface, then looks at three shadows closing in and jumps down. Four legs touch water. The lion begins swimming as fast as possible toward shore. Distance, gradually from shore, legs still touching bottom. But behind, crocodiles are accelerating. The largest submerges, disappears. This is the most dangerous moment. The lion nearly reaches shore. Front legs grip earth, pulling body up, but injured hind leg lacks strength, making her slide down, and that's all the crocodile needs. From behind, a crocodile surges up and locks jaws onto the rear section. Massive pulling force jerks the lion back into the water. The second crocodile immediately lunges in, clamping tight on front shoulder. Two pulling forces from two directions make the lion sink half submerged. Only head and one front leg protruding. The death roll begins. Lion's body dragged completely under. Water surface churns violently, then gradually settles, returning to initial calm. Water surface returns to stillness. No more sounds or movement, only a few small ripples fading on the surface. The grassland ruler has sunk from here. Above, the lion pride stands silent. Calling sounds echo down, no response. Only wind blowing through the gorge echoes back. After several tries, they fall silent. After a few minutes, one by one, leaves the cliff edge. They leave without looking back. On the plains, prolonging loss is also putting oneself at risk. Below the Luangwa River, crocodiles drag prey to the deep bottom, holding it for natural decomposition process before beginning the meal. Nile crocodiles can fast for months, and today's meal is a 130-kilogram lioness, enough to feed them for many weeks. The confrontation closes according to environmental law. When entering water, advantage belongs to water-adapted creatures. On that territory, all land advantages lose value. The lion pride loses a member. Movement rhythm and behavior will change in following days, reflecting adjustment to risk. Dusk arrives. Landscape returns to familiar state, leaving almost no clear traces of the event just occurred. The lion pride stops to rest in tall grass area, far from the river. They lie closer together, the gap of one individual becoming obvious in the silent formation. Each encounter leaves marks in blood. Later decisions will change through reflexes formed from experience. Below the river, crocodiles continue moving slowly. Eyes, nose protruding, then sinking back. The observation cycle and endless patience count again from the start. In the Luangwa ecosystem, lions and crocodiles share the food chain apex, each species dominating half the world. When boundaries are erased, advantage belongs to the side adapting better to conditions at that moment. Each rainy season, water rises. Dry season, water recedes. Boundaries continuously change. Encounters repeat. No permanent winner, only temporary adaptation. Today's lioness didn't fail from lack of strength. On land, she's the ruler. But when conditions change, mass and body structure itself become disadvantages. Conversely, crocodiles don't need to be faster or stronger in all circumstances. They only need the right environment, where their advantages are maximized. Sun sets over Luangwa. On shore, lions rest in tall grass. Below water, crocodiles hide. Two parallel worlds, meters apart, but deciding survival. Tomorrow morning, though one individual fewer, the lion pride's rhythm doesn't stop. They'll avoid the riverbank, continue hunting on grasslands, and remember dangerous boundaries. Night wind blows through the gorge, carrying scents of mud and damp grass. Traces on rocks gradually disappear. Bank edge returns as before. Nature erases what once occurred. Under moonlight, crocodiles hide in flat water. In a world where mistakes mean endings, silence sometimes is the sign of danger itself. Sand surface temperature has exceeded 60 degrees. Air bent, turning everything distant into mirages flowing blurred on the horizon. Yellow scorpion seeks shade, nestling into rock crevice to avoid sun. Outside, under high-temperature rocks begin cracking from thermal expansion. Heat presses down on Sonoran like invisible weight. Owl hides in tree trunk avoiding sun. Under thornbush, jackrabbit presses flat to ground, dilating blood vessels in ears to radiate heat. But beneath scorching sand layer, ground surface shifts slightly. Horned lizard emerges, dusting sand with transparent eyelids before stepping into heat level. All other species are avoiding. It possesses osteoderm armor layer, helping adapt to harsh heat. Red ants crawl across nose and head spikes, while its body not yet warm enough to react. Tongue flicks out extremely fast, rolling up each ant, then swallowing whole. On dessert, energy-conserving hunting strategy, more important than pursuit speed. Horned lizard walks, and at cholla bush edge, another movement appears. Small burrow entrance stirs. Two long whiskers poke out, sensing ground vibrations. Desert mouse stands motionless before burrow entrance, only ears continuously rotating, detecting sounds. After seconds of vigilance, it finally steps into dangerous open space. Long hind legs help it leap far and change direction instantly. It dashes between mesquite bushes, exposing itself on bare sand surface. It's searching for seeds, but never losing vigilance about surrounding environment. For desert rodents, danger typically comes from above. Above, two golden eagles glide on thermal currents, barely needing to flap wings. They've appeared since ground began absorbing heat. With vision 8 times human, plus talons creating grip force over 2,800 pounds per square inch. Golden eagle has locked tight on small brown dot between two bushes right when it left burrow. Eagle tilts wings, adjusting descent trajectory, calculating wind and prey's running direction. Wrong angle causes failure and wastes energy on desert. On ground, mouse detects round shadow advancing on sand. Immediately flees, changing direction, lunging toward a rock maze instead of running straight to familiar burrow. Eagle talons stab into sand where mouse just stood. It watches prey. Mouse continues running, carrying first trace, opening hunting signal. Mouse rushes into maze of stacked granite rocks, making eagle unable to approach. Shade reduces heat significantly, but this terrain is also shelter for other predator species. Rock rattlesnake has necrotic venom. Thanks to heat pit, it detects mouse through very small temperature difference before seeing and begins rattling tail. Mouse freezes. Ahead is snake. Behind is eagle. But instead of panicking, it calculates escape chance when snake strikes and misses, needing about 3 seconds to coil back. Opportunity will open. Mouse creates vibration, stimulating snake to strike first. When strike lunges forward, it leaps sideways, then passes through narrow gap in very short time. Right then, eagle lunges into rock gap following mouse direction. Large movement brings it into defense reflex range of agitated snake. Snake launches second strike. Fangs only graze eagle's chest feathers, forcing predator to spring back out, yielding rock maze to true owner. Mouse escapes maze from west side. It breathes heavily, legs beginning to feel heavy. Ahead is bare sand plain, but behind is pursuing eagle. Two eagles coordinate above. One forces direction, the other waits ready at strike angle, creating pincer position, leading mouse right into attack trajectory. Cactus branch makes it slip slightly, but it still struggles to keep running, driven into talon range, diving down from about 30 meters height. Just as the talons were about to make contact, the mouse spotted the hollow skull. Its hind legs kicked off, and it changed direction, diving straight in and vanishing as the talons snapped shut over the top of the cranium. The skull creates a natural shelter. The narrow eye sockets prevent the eagle's beak from reaching deep inside, while the bone layer keeps the temperature significantly lower than the open sand. Eagle perches on skull, continuously pecking into open gaps, but mouse still lies deep inside skull cavity. Tug of war between desert's strongest and hollow skull begins. 5 minutes. Sun scorches sand surface, but skull remains cool thanks to heat reflection and light convection. Meanwhile, eagle must continuously shift feet to force mouse to run out. After 10 minutes, one perched on cactus begins losing patience, scanning for other targets, while the other pecks one last time, but still powerless before skull. Finally, eagles fly away in turn, abandoning energy-draining hunt, leaving skull in desert midst with mouse still alive inside. Mouse pokes whiskers from eye socket, checking vibrations and shadows on sand, then crawls out, dusts sand from fur, and runs to nearest burrow. Escape ends. By reflexes faster than eagle talons, body twist making snake miss strike, and a hollow skull lying right where no one expected. Eagles have ascended high again, and eyes still scanning. From afar, they detect new movement racing fast among cactus bushes. Zebra-tailed lizard, running at 30 kilometers per hour speed, black-white stripes bobbing. Being pursued by collared lizard, specialist eating smaller kindred, chasing behind. Collared lizard, with large head and powerful jaw force, completely focused on prey ahead, not at all recognizing predator shadow marked on sand. Zebra-tailed lizard dives underground. Pursuer behind stops in open area. It halts observing but doesn't see prey anywhere. Above, eagle has locked target early, waiting for exact moment lizard stops in open ground to dive from most advantageous attack angle. Collared lizard hears wind whistle behind, but reacts slowly. Body too hot, after chase making legs lose half speed. 2 meters become unreachable distance. Eagle talons clamp tight around lizard body and lift it from sand surface. Amid open space, with no rock gaps or shelter, all escape chances vanish. Eagle carries prey flying to nest on large cactus tree, while zebra-tailed lizard silently stays under sand, surviving by being faster than what once hunted it. Eagle perches on cactus tree feeding its young. Lost small mouse but gained larger prey instead. Enough one meal for its offspring. Desert food chain continues operating. Seeds feed mouse, insects feed lizard, lizard feeds eagle. Then decomposing carcass returns nutrients to soil and plants. Horned lizard lies pressed on warm rock after eating enough ants. Bone armor layer protects body, while blood squirting ability helps drive away many predator species. In cool burrow, mouses moving, thanks to extremely efficient water concentrating kidney system, helping it live almost without needing to drink water amid arid desert. Rattlesnake still coiled. Slow metabolism helps it fast many days. Waiting for temperature to drop, then begins night hunting with heat pit. Dusk touches Sonoran. Sunlight gradually shifts to orange-red, while desert rocks begin radiating heat, absorbed throughout the long day. Desert changes shifts. Horned lizard prepares to bury itself in sand. Eagle stops hunting. Scorpion leaves rock crevice, and mouse pokes whiskers out burrow entrance again. Now is safest time. Rattlesnake crawls from maze, continuously flicking tongue and scanning heat. Where once was daytime shelter, now becomes nighttime hunting ground. Sonoran Desert spans over 300,000 square kilometers. With extreme temperature range, creatures here must adapt to daytime heat or nighttime cold to survive. Each species carries unique survival strategy, but all adaptations have limits. No one is perfect, only the most suitable. Kalahari, the world's largest red sand desert, stretching more than 900,000 square kilometers across 3 countries, where temperatures swing 60 degrees Celsius between day and night. And every creature that exists here has paid its tuition through evolution. A world where countless species coexist, hunt, and multiply among the blazing red dunes with no trace of water. the largest semi-arid ecosystem on the planet. Beneath the still cool red sand of dawn, meerkats let out short, sharp calls, signaling the start of a new day with a land's relentless battle for survival. High above, the Martial eagle circles wide on thermals rising from the red sand, its wingspan nearly 2.5 meters, eyes reading every movement on the ground from an altitude where humans can see nothing at all. Below, a herd of oryx moves slowly along a dry riverbed, while springbok leap high in bursts as if challenging the heat already pressing down. Among the dry thorn bushes, meerkats stand upright, absorbing warmth after a night that dropped to 5 degrees Celsius. A black mamba coils beneath a rock, waiting for the temperature to rise, while a male lion lies still in the shade of an acacia. When the extreme dry season arrives, Kalahari changes hour by hour. Temperatures climb until the line between life and death is only the width of a patch of shade. 9 months of drought, daytime temperatures exceeding 45 degrees Celsius in the air and 70 degrees on the sand surface, nights dropping to 5 degrees. Kalahari becomes the harshest land on the continent. Oryx raise their body temperature rather than lose water. The brain cooled separately by a specialized vascular system. Meerkats retreat into the cool earth below, and lions lie motionless, waiting for the sun to fall. In Kalahari, no species stands outside the cycle of heat and scarcity. Predator, prey, and 70-degree sand are always the 3 final deciding factors. And the winner is not the strongest, but the one that has evolved strangely enough to survive here. Welcome to Kalahari, the world's largest red sand desert, where survivors are not chosen by strength or speed, but by the only thing that matters, the ability to adapt to what is unbearable. If Kalahari has an ambassador, it is not the magnificent black-maned lion, not the proud, long-horned oryx. It is a 700-gram creature that stands upright on its hind legs every morning. Meerkats are immune to the venom of cobras and scorpions, the 2 most dangerous species in Kalahari. Their skin is unusually thick. Their nervous system reacts faster than the venom can spread. They are among the most courageous creatures on this planet. By eliminating snakes and scorpions, they protect dozens of other species that have no immunity, maintaining balance at the ground-level ecological layer that no other species can replace. Meerkats have no rigid hierarchy, but rotate responsibilities. Each day, one individual stands guard and scans the surroundings. When danger appears, the entire group vanishes into the burrow in seconds. But now they are steadily losing their territory, as extreme drought causes burrow systems to collapse. The dry, loose soil is no longer stable enough to maintain the deep tunnels the entire group depends on. If Serengeti has the king of the grassland, then Kalahari has the black-maned lion. They stand out not for their size or speed, but for the dark mane that reflects their physical condition, heat tolerance, and history of harsh survival. In the dry season, Kalahari lions may need to travel around 20 kilometers each night to find prey. They hunt in darkness across dry sand where footprints and scents are quickly erased by the wind. Their presence does not only threaten prey, but shapes the entire ecosystem. Oryx and springbok are forced to keep moving, avoiding lingering too long in areas with a high risk of ambush. Kalahari lions hunt differently from their relatives on the green savanna. With no thickets or water sources to drive prey into a corner, they rely on endurance and patience, sometimes tracking a target for 5 to 6 continuous hours. The Kalahari lion, one of the most harshly adapted populations in Africa, is declining due to conflict with humans. When natural prey becomes scarce, they are forced to hunt livestock and are frequently poisoned or killed in retaliation. If Kalahari has a symbol of defiance, it is the oryx. This antelope possesses horns longer than 80 centimeters, can survive where water is scarce, endure brutal heat, and hold its ground against a lion. Oryx can allow their body temperature to rise significantly while still protecting the brain. They achieve this through a specialized heat exchange mechanism that cools the blood before it flows to the brain. When digging for water-bearing tubers and roots beneath the sand, oryx inadvertently create countless small hollows. These depressions retain moisture better overnight, forming microhabitats for many species of insects, reptiles, and small plants. When a lion approaches, oryx typically do not flee immediately. They turn to face it, lower their horns, and hold a defensive position because their speed is not sufficient to guarantee escape, while the longhorns are an effective weapon. When migration corridors disappear, oryx herds become isolated in ever-shrinking areas. Food sources are quickly exhausted, their bodies gradually weaken, and they become far easier targets. But Kalahari does not belong only to the large creatures. When night falls and temperatures plunge tens of degrees within a few hours, another world begins to awaken, the secret world of nocturnal life. Midnight, temperature at 8 degrees Celsius. The oryx herd has been moving since late afternoon, searching for a new food source, unaware that 2 lionesses have been tracking them for 4 hours without making a single sound. The first lioness approaches from upwind, ensuring the oryx cannot catch her scent. The second lioness swings wide to the left to cut off the retreat route. One oryx raises its head, ears rotate, nostrils flare. Kalahari holds its breath for 3 seconds, and those 3 seconds decide the entire outcome of this 4-hour hunt. Just 1 second of a wind shift is enough to carry the lion's scent to the oryx herd. The entire group instantly breaks formation and bolts in the direction that millions of years of evolution have carved into their survival instinct. The final strike, not at the throat as the grassland lion would, because on soft sand there is not enough traction for a prolonged struggle, and this, man, is the most efficient way to end it. The survivor of tonight is not necessarily the fastest, but the one who reacted at the right moment. In Kalahari, just a few seconds of hesitation after detecting danger is enough to turn a chance of escape into an irreversible failure. And the one who falls will not be wasted. Hyenas will follow the scent of blood, vultures will appear at dawn, and before midday, Kalahari will have returned everything to the cycle of life. The sun rises again, temperatures begin to climb, and the meerkat group pokes its heads above the burrow entrance, beginning a new day as though nothing happened last night. In Kalahari, that is the definition of survival. Everything you have just witnessed is not a collection of separate stories. Kalahari is a living organism, and every species must find its own answer to the same question. How do you survive in a place where everything is trying to kill you? Meerkats control venomous creatures. Lions control the herbivore herds. Oryx maintain micromoisture and scatter seeds. When even one link weakens, the entire system loses its balance. Kalahari is not a dead desert. It is a living desert, home to more than 400 species of birds, 1,500 species of plants, and an underground system more complex than any city humans have ever built. All of it on a bed of red sand with no water. And when one link disappears, it is not just one species that is lost. A 10 million year evolutionary equation is erased, and no amount of time is long enough to rewrite it from the beginning. But the most dangerous creature in Kalahari cannot endure 45-degree heat for more than 2 hours without air conditioning. It arrives in trucks, erects fences, and drills wells. Interventions whose consequences reach far beyond a single generation. The Sand People, the indigenous community that has been bound to Kalahari for tens of thousands of years, were once forced off their ancestral land to make way for tourism, conservation, and extraction, even though they are the ones who understand this land most deeply. The cost does not belong to nature alone. As vegetation declines and sand is no longer held stable, agricultural land in Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa may face increasing pressure from erosion, drought, and ecological degradation. When the lion's roar dissolves into the cold, early morning air, when the oryx vanishes into the heat shimmer, when the meerkats retreat underground, Kalahari returns to its ancient rhythm, slow, precise, and leaving no room for error. The question that remains is not only what we have seen, but what will happen if the species chosen to adapt here slowly disappear. When that day comes, who will keep Kalahari running as a world still alive? What will we have left when Kalahari is no longer red? When the sand is no longer hot because there is nothing left to scorch, and no more strange creatures strong enough to stand upright and face the sun each morning. Kalahari is still here, still red, still hot, still ruthlessly filtering every creature that enters it. But the question is how much longer? And the answer no longer lies in nature alone. It increasingly rests in human hands. If this journey has made you look again at arid lands once dismissed as worthless, then perhaps Kalahari has done the most important thing of all, forced us to look more carefully at life in a place where life seemed impossible. And until next time, at the next brutal survival arenas, where nature does not ask if you are ready, and the answer must come before the question has a chance to be asked.